hey folks, we are back at it, and today the car that we have, well, we are a bit late with it. So you might ask, like, why do it at all then? Well, I'm not going to say because we can, but better late than never, and this was all that we could get our hands on for the day. So presenting to you the Polo GT TSI. This college going chap, and you are out in the market looking for a new car, and you want something that's small, something that's fast, quick. You want to gain attention, and you want something that gains you respect and all that sort of stuff. You're out there looking for the hottest car on sale right now, and then you want to be this guy.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and my dad is asking me to pick up a car. So I'm looking for something that's small, that's really powerful, and something like pocket rocket. Do you have something for me like that?
Well, yeah, I do have something for you right now.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Let's go and check it out. Let's go. So this is where guys like us start falling in love. That's your proof right there. Boy, do the paperwork fast. I'm taking this home. I'm falling in love again. And then when you're done falling in love, you find the perfect soulmate. What's there to wait?
And one over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here's your key.
Thank you. Thank you. So, it's been 2 years since we last shot those clips, and in the meantime I have lost a good amount of hair, as you will have seen in the previous clips. And when it comes to Ruben and his car, well, he's put on some weight and his car looks a bit different, apart from just the new shoes that it has got. So without any further ado, let's see what he has been doing in the last 2 years with that Polo GT of his. So over to him.
My name is Ruben Pereira, and I drive a Stage 1 tuned Polo GT TSI. When the car hit the Indian shows, this car attracted a lot of crowd, as this was an alternative to the Swift and the i20. Now, this was the first time we had a proper German hot hatch.
Although the Fabia was already here, this was more of a youngster's ride. With its good design, more like a blend between the old school and new school, everyone really loved the way the car looked. It was and still is one of the most beautiful hatches to ever reach the Indian shows.
Now, even 10 years later, with the competition passing it, this car is still a looker. So ever since I was in college, I always wanted a Polo. But the engine options that were available in the beginning were 3 cylinders. That really didn't cut the cake for me. But when I heard of the 4-cylinder turbocharged hot hatch, that really gained my attention.
And boy, it was a showstopper while pretending to be like a sleeper with no fancy bits apart from few stickers stating that it was a GT. But it was a mini firecracker when it came to the driving experience. And when I finally got my hands on one, I liked it, but I felt it was missing something. I mean, yes, it was quick, fast, and all the things that everyone said it was, but it wasn't exactly to my taste. I wanted a little bit more. The gearbox was a gem, the hero of the car. But in the engine department, it was fast, had a good top speed, but at the time everything got there, it was a little bit laggy. Against other hatches, yeah, they were no match. But against tuned up hatches or other bigger stock cars, yeah, it wasn't good enough. Even though it was the best in its class while being stock. I needed to get off the line quicker. I knew the gearbox was good and I needed a good map to push the car harder and faster to match up to the shifts.
So I thought about a basic tune-up, but I just really didn't want to stop right there. It's not really about the tune, right? There's a lot more to it.
You got to look into the other aspects of things as well. Stopping power, suspension setup to match the high speeds, how well you can put the power down, etc. So I wanted to go for the safe, most reliable tuner in the country. So what better place than Pete's himself? So I got a stage 1 remap. So the power bumped up from 105 horses to a decent 132 horses on 91 RON. Torque went up from 175 Newton meters to 230 Newton meters with a Revo intake and a Euro air channel. Also a SS decat exhaust free flow is good. Most important thing was getting off the line quicker. So I needed that extra bit of torque to keep me planted in the seat while pulling away, and that extra power to reach the higher speeds faster. Mission accomplished. Next up were the brakes, of course. Went for the drilled rotors for better cooling. Kept the size stock calipers, but Brembo brake pads. I was advised that this was good enough for a stage 1 setup because it wasn't a huge bump in power, and this slightly more stopping power setup was good enough to handle the extra bit of power. Didn't really require to go for bigger calipers because that's for a stage 2 or a stage 3 setup, and if I did go for bigger brakes, I wouldn't really feel a big difference and it would be totally unnecessary. It's not about having a 2-pot caliper or a 4-pot or a 6-pot for that matter. Just comes down to the size of the piston in the caliper to stop the car at the end. So better brake pads, better discs do the job just fine for now. Until I decide to go for a stage 2 or maybe a stage 3.
Next step was suspension to take care of the body roll. Oh yes, body roll in a hatch. You not only get them in SUVs.
Stock suspension was set up for comfort driving on the Indian roads. High ground clearance of about 170 mm something. Cornering with that extra power could very well see me tuck and roll on the bend someday. So I settled for the D2 Racing adjustable coilovers. Took a while to set it up and perfect it. Not too stiff because it was to be a daily driver, and not too soft for mom to complain that she's on a bullock cart. For wheels it has the Momo Revenge because revenge is sweet. Now they have a good design, not too in your face, not too showy kind of thing. They're more on the subtle side. Yeah, sure, they are very common nowadays with smaller companies making similar designs, but these are the originals because of its quality, lightweight and slipperish look.
So now the tires have been upgraded from the stock 185 to the Yokohama S-Drive 205s to put down that extra bit of power in a better way. Overall, I'm really happy with the setup. It's a good daily driver and a street racer when it has to be one.
Quicker off the line, the added power matches the shifts perfectly. It sticks perfectly on the bends, no roll, no understeer, unless you really hammer it. But even at high speed cornering, I love the way it sticks on the road. A wider tire, extra grip, load ride really helps in handling. The exhaust isn't too loud to wake up my neighbors when I'm pulling away calmly. It's got that deep bubbly note to it, but not a screamer all the time. But when you really throttle it down, it sure puts on one hell of a soundtrack. Really no complaints of having this loud exhaust as a daily driver. Even the suspension setup for where I usually drive, the roads aren't bad at all. Even when the roads are really bad, for a short time the ride isn't jarring. It's only on those long distance bad roads you'll really feel like taking a break. But that's also the case with any stock car on bad roads. You'll feel the bumps. With this maybe a little more, but not a place where you'll break your back. Unless you're in the passenger seat and you really got a back problem. The only downside of this engine is that when you keep revving it at neutral, it only goes to a max of 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. That's a bit of a letdowner, but that's done by the company to protect the gearbox. I'm sure it can be removed coding it, but I opted to keep it because I don't want to be revving it like one of those guys at the red light.
I let my driving do the talking when the lights go green.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the 2-year love affair between Ruben and his Polo GT Stage 1 setup. and I hope to see him keep this for another 10 years at least, and maybe having a stage 3 then. But I hope you all like enjoy the video, and please to give us a like and subscribe. And yeah, I would really like to thank all of you all for the 1000 subscribers. Ruben, if you'd like to add a piece
Thank
to
you
that.
so much, guys, for the 1K subscriber. Thank you for supporting us and staying with us until here. We have a lot more content coming up, so guys who have not subscribed, please do subscribe. Press the bell icon as well so that you all get notified every time we put up a video. See you next video.